Hello, everyone. Well, here we are live on Thursday afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So happy to be here with you guys. And if you are coming in live, please down below hashtag live, or if it's the replay that you are seeing, hashtag replay. And do tell us where you're from. I'm coming in from Mexico. My guest today is from India, and we'll find out where. And also, if you want to comment, make sure that you give StreamYard permission to use your name, and you'll see that banner there. And if you just want to react and not comment, then give us a thumbs up, or even better, you know what? We love hearts. Give us lots of hearts because we love, 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 love. We love. Okay, so today I have an awesome guest. Her name is Shikha Khanna. And let me just tell you what we have in common. Um, we both belong to the Project Next program. Now, that is the next step to the KBB program that Tony and Dean put together in 2019. You've heard me talk about the KBB, which is the Knowledge Business Blueprint. All right, this is the next level. This is the third year, and it's the next level. And what they did was improve on the course, and the course itself is called Digital Product System. And so that's the course within the program. When they talk about their program, it includes the private Facebook group where there are 54,000 members, an 8-week walkthrough with Dean, also a platform, Mastermind, where we can sell our courses, our workshops, or our mastermind, and a ticket. And this itself is worth the price of the whole program. A ticket to the World Summit 2021, which is coming next week, by the way, August 13, 15. So I'm excited about that. Shikha and I are also a member of the VIP Elite Group community, which I am one of the 4 leaders. And the other thing we have in common, we have a coach, Mike, in common. We're both course creators, and we use the same platform, mastermind.com, all right, to market our courses. So just want to let you know that Ashika is an established and well-known portrait photographer. She inspires me with her passion and her purpose, and she will do the same for you, I am sure. She started her career 20 years ago in India, and she may even be the very first woman in India who started to photograph newborn babies. So without further ado, let me introduce to you Shikha Khanna. All right, Shikha, if I can get you on. There you are, Shikha. Say
Hi,
hi to our audience.
hi Lucy. Hi Lucy. Hi everyone. I'm Shikha and I am here at 11:30 p.m. connecting to my friend Lucy, who I'm so dearly very fond of. Thank you, Lucy, for having me here. And I'm
And
here joining you from India.
thank you. What part of India are you joining us from?
I'm just 2 hours away from Mumbai. It's a
Okay,
place called Pune.
okay.
It's 2 hours away from Mumbai.
Okay, great. Okay, now please explain how you started with the newborn babies photography. You actually said you started your career of photographing newborn babies in the labor room. Can you talk a little bit about that?
That's something that I, of course, write for a great hook that we've learned to do. But honestly, my sister had a baby, and I think I picked up photography from my father, and my cousin had a baby. And like at that time, babies in India, nobody took pictures of, right? And she really wanted it. So I took a picture of the baby, the very first, I think, 5 minutes. I took the baby pictures and she totally fell in love with it. And then I went on to learn photography with whatever, that was like first step. And then I won some awards in college. And then I went ahead and learned formal photography, which was again not heard of in India when I did it.
So it was your sister that had the baby that got you really started. I mean,
Right, right.
she wanted a picture of the baby, and then all of a sudden, here became a new passion for you and a new
Yeah,
faith.
and people wanted it. Like people all around wanted it. And I was like shooting everybody's babies. So, and then
Well,
the international course came from Australia. which I did, and I specialized in baby photography.
Wow, that is such a great story. I just want to let you know that sometimes I spend about 10, 15 minutes. I go to YouTube's and there are lots of pictures of
Yeah,
newborn babies. I'm just in awe. I'm in awe of the
absolutely.
wonderment, that you see in the eyes. And sometimes the eyebrow will go up if mom's talking to him or her. And sometimes there's a smile, and sometimes it's amazing what goes on in that
Right.
little head of
Yeah,
theirs.
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much to capture, and I know that you're good at capturing the essence and the inner beauty of that person. So I heard you say you've been teaching photography for about 10 years, right? Can you?
14 years. 14 years.
All right. So, and your classes have been described. I think I've read that your classes are like a type of therapy. What do
Right.
your clients mean by that?
First of all, why I corrected you 14? Because I was doing one of the online sessions just a few months back, and not on, and then I came into live into my group, and this lady comes up and she says, "You taught me photography 14 years back, so stop saying it's 10 years." I used to say 10 years, and I've written 10 years everywhere, so I didn't know I was doing it for 14 years. So that's why I'm very proudly saying it's 14 years. And meditative, why? Because I feel that, not I feel, I think it's been proven by science that humans are visual learners. 70% of their learning happens with visual. And if the visual is missing from their life, the learning slows down tremendously, with other senses being taken care of. And what's happening with today's world is that we have, like, our visuals are no more real. These are these 2D, 3D, 2D videos that we're seeing all the time on the computers. And, uh, just like right next to your computer, there would be a pupa or a butterfly or a beautiful bird, but you refuse to see that. And I always say that there are two kinds of people who really jump at these things, especially now, even more, are children and photographers. You show a photographer a fascinating thing, and the camera's out, and then they just start jumping. So then I thought that maybe use that, and now the cameras have come to our pockets. It's no more that big camera. Everybody has camera and phones. So why not take a break? So I started these challenges called the Visual Break Challenge, which basically was all about taking that 5 minutes break a day and to see how the world around you comes alive, you know, because I kept on hearing people saying more and more that life is boring, it's static, it's not moving. But we are growing, seasons are changing, life is moving, plants are growing, things are happening. But it's just, you have to be available for it. So I thought photography was one thing that can bring them closer to that. And when I started those things, people actually started taking breaks from their mothers, started taking breaks from daily routine, people from their corporate jobs, and then they found it that at that time they were not thinking anything but taking that visual and soaking it in. And
Mhm.
that's what became meditative for them.
So you actually encourage your students to see the extraordinary in the
In the
ordinary
ordinary,
life,
absolutely.
really. So
Because
that
it is extraordinary. It's
listen,
so,
yeah.
like, if you don't light up seeing like your plants grow, as we missing on to the life. We're missing
Oh,
on
I
the whole
know.
life is, yeah, it's just passing by.
I just, sometimes I look at my roses, and one day it's a bud, and I see it open up, and I have to go over and quick kiss it and caress it.
Yeah, yes,
It's,
absolutely, absolutely.
just, it's
Even our faces, and people around us, everything is growing.
yeah,
I don't want to use deteriorating. It's all growing and it's changing and it's developing and it's nothing is static. I don't know why people think life is static. It's not. It's
it's
not at
not.
all.
It's continuous. It's energy. It's all changing. It's always moving. Like, always moving.
Absolutely.
Now, so you're working really with new moms, building confidence through self-portrait, right? Right now, is that what
Right.
you're doing? But
Right.
before going there, can we talk a little bit about you growing up as a young lady in India? We don't often get the chance to to get the live version of a young lady growing up in India. I know that becoming a portrait photographer had to be very unusual
Oh
for you.
yes. Oh,
So
totally.
can you share
Totally.
a little bit about your growing up and how that all happened? How you chose
Um,
photography? Where did that come from?
so, Lucy, I know that this is not a very classical tale that I will tell you because I actually grew up in the capital of India, Delhi, New Delhi, and definitely grew up in a very modern colony,
Okay.
but in a joint family. So my unique story comes from a joint family, and they were like my grandmom had 6 kids
Well,
and three brothers who stayed together, and then all the families stayed together till I got married, which was at the age of 30. And seven kids were there in the house. And, the sisters used to come on weekends. So on weekends, we had 14 kids in the house. So I've grown up with like a lot of kids in the house and like 3 fathers in the house. Like permission was, if even anybody could grant us permission or anybody could like stop us from doing anything because everybody was raising this whole set of children together. So that's been a great blessing for me. And today I realize that the ability to connect, my whole ability to be able to connect to any kind has come from there. It's come from there that in spite of the fact I was surrounded by a lot of nuclear families in a very modern India, you know, and I have I have a story that my Australian teacher when I was 18 years old, one of them came with not wearing like really great clothes and everything, and suddenly he sees that kids were getting down in Mercedes and they had magnetic boards, and then he looked at us and he's like, I don't even have that in my college. Like, how do you guys? So the whole concept of India was as if India is this, under the tree, backward pictures. And there we were, walking and doing courses. And my course at that time, 20 years back, costed me, almost $10,000 to learn. And
wow.
in India, because this was an international course in India, nobody chose photography as a career, and a girl choosing it. So my
Girl.
dad, hats off to him, he never stopped it. But I grew up in that place where at least I had the tradition intact, and I was in a big joint family with grandmom leading the family. And I think I was one of the blessed ones that my radical views were absolutely accepted and nurtured, I must say, by my father. And there I was, one of the youngest photographers in my batch, being India's first baby and child photographer. And we had the concept of, black eye, like, you couldn't take pictures of children because if you take pictures of children, something will happen to them,
Exactly.
especially a girl coming who's not married, who doesn't know, she comes and she takes a picture, something will happen to the kids.
Yeah. A
So I
witch.
crossed all, yeah, which I didn't want to say that, but yeah, the concept of black eye that some kids, the energy doesn't suit them
Right.
to have strangers coming in. So I had to definitely work my way through that in India, and the older generation, accepting their stares during the shoot, and figuring it out if there's a quarrel happening that don't do this and do this because in-laws had a lot of say into what their grandchild needs to go through. And then we had these black, to save them from bad eye, we had these black marks all over and this some stuff happening, which I always used to remove before my shoot, and it was a no-no. So this was always like, you can't remove that black thread, you can't remove this black thing, something will happen to them if you don't. So I did cross all that, and I
Yeah.
introduced myself, and now it's a booming industry in India. Like every woman like wants to be a baby photographer now.
What
So
a great story. I mean, it must have been so much fun to grow up in a household with all those kids. I
yes,
grew up in a family of seven. There was always something to do, and
yes,
so,
yes, yes,
and yours was practically a village. You know how they say it takes a
yes.
village to
Oh yes, oh
to
yes,
raise a child.
and I think that's missing. And like I wish my kids have that because that's why I allow my kids to interact with as many neighbors as possible because those personalities. I mean, you can deal with anything in the world, and you can deal with the joint family on everyday basis. Yeah, we can deal with anything.
Now, you mentioned your dad as being a big influence. Was your dad a photographer, or was that an interest that he
Now,
had?
he was a printer, but
Okay,
his hobby was photography.
okay.
So I think again, I mean, I never realized I picked it up from him. I always thought it was my original idea, and he always smiled about it. Like, oh yeah, it's like, I always showed, this whole thing of walking in this house saying, so what, you guys are businessmen, this is my original idea, I want to be a photographer. Only to realize after some time, knowing, but not consciously, that he was a photographer, yes. And he loved taking kid pictures of babies. And when people complimented me that I brought inner light, he actually brought a lot of inner light in people's pictures. And my uncles used to come back and say, "Do you remember your dad took that picture of my child?" And I adore it. So I think I got it from him, but I wanted to owe it up because I was this 18-year-old just finishing my teenage, getting into this, young things. I wanted to say that, oh, it's my idea.
Yeah,
But yes,
right.
I acknowledge it comes from him. I think I grew under that shade as his hobby and his dream, and it came onto me to be fulfilled.
Oh, that's so cool. Anybody else influence you insofar as photography other than your dad? Because he obviously was
Uh,
in your life.
I've had many influences though. I've headed a poetry movement for 12 years where I've photographed 400 poets. I have worked with school principals because that's where I started my photography, and that's where I found parents. And I worked when my dad specialized in printing for schools. So I just think what influenced me was that I've met people who've become my mentors without they having any qualification of NLP or etc. But they uplifted me in different ways, putting me on stage in front of poets. Today I'm doing this 100 self-portrait thing only because I've put a lot of poets on stage with 3,000 audience while I was pregnant as well with my older one, and still walking and doing it with, organizing the whole event as a voluntary thing. So, crowd and everything, I think this whole thing together has made me who I am today. And it doesn't scare me to do big things. And it's all come in part of photography. And photography led me there. My pictures led me to poets, and poets led me to poetry, and poetry led me to events, and events are here, and I'm doing 100 poets, 100 self-portraits here, sitting at
And
my
we're
house.
going to talk about that. I want to talk
Yes,
some
yes,
more about that. That's for sure.
yes,
So,
yes.
I do remember reading something about you that when you were a teenager, you did have some difficulty in school. They wanted to put it was either science or math, and somebody said to you, "Oh no, you can't go in anything like that. You have to go to the humanities." Well, as you know, I graduated in the humanities because that for us in America, and this was Canada, that was looked on favorably, actually.
Oh,
If you
wow. Totally
yeah,
different from what it was. And it's an interesting story
but
that you picked up.
then it took a twist. Then it was math and science, but humanities
Right.
was first. So I love hearing that story.
Yes, so basically academics was not like I was not an academically inclined person ever, and I also didn't grow up. I know I didn't grow up with my mother, so I was a very shy child. I was a very quiet kid, and I was always trying to back off and be quiet. And my father was always very worried that this girl is very quiet and she doesn't make friends. Today he's worried as well because I made too many friends, and he's still worried. Like I don't know where this girl's energy is going. But that's a father, they always get worried. And but he did help me a lot and walked with me every step. And I was scared to bring me out. And I was really bad academically. I think for first 10 years of my school, I literally flunked every year, and I couldn't like pass anything. The only thing I had was certificates of dance, certificates of some sport activities, some dramatic, some stuff, but I just couldn't go past 30% or 28% of, percentage in my this thing. So of course, all the bullying, all the names that you're called, and all this groupism and whatever, I crossed all that. And then there I was in class 11 when in our we have like 10 plus 2 together, and I was to choose a subject, right? And then my principal was actually my dad's mentor, and that's the only reason I think I could even get this every year push, to the next, because I used to write. I remember My teacher used to tell me, write 100 times, you will not do it next year again, and you will
I
focus. And I
remember
would
those
just,
days.
yes, I used to write it 100 times and I will not, I will focus. And I just couldn't, and I still don't know why. And he said to me that don't take math and don't take commerce. And I was howling away, sitting in front of his this thing that last time, give me a chance, because all my friends are in commerce or science or
Right.
math, and humanities was always, if you don't get commerce and science, you go to humanities. And generally, people who were not good at academics were thrown into humanities because there was no other option.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to be taken away from my friends or people looking at me and saying that, oh my God, humanities, we knew it, we just knew it. And I tried my best, but it didn't work this time. And then he said, you know what, the world is going in a very different way. And you bless me that I pushed you to do this.
Wow.
And he said, I couldn't understand it that time. I was
Right.
just crying. I was looking at my father, like last time, use whatever you have to get me there. And then I was like only given an option, either do humanities or leave, right? And I was like, fine, humanities. And there I was. And then just in 2 years' time, I was an 87 percenter. I left from there with 87% in my results. And when I entered college, I entered without any, like, the first list that comes out for the top college. I was there in the first bracket right there. And I remember my father, when the board exams came, he actually went back to his car and he took the ruler and he's trying to put it straight to see if he's seeing the right, like 87%. Is that her? He actually ran back and he's like, no, 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 no. It says 87, but maybe I'm seeing the down mark or something. And he actually went with a ruler trying to just push the crowd away, because at that time there was no digital, right? It was all on the walls. And he's putting it there and he's like, no way, you've just got 87. Like, he was screaming away because there was this girl who had just emerged. And So, I mean, from there, I became the head of photography. And that's how my teacher came, and I kept on winning competitions. And he came and he told me that this is course that's coming. You will be the youngest in this batch, but do it, whatever it takes. And my dad went through a big business downfall at that time. There was a big fraud that happened with him, and he had lost everything right in the middle of my course. And I don't know how he did it, but and to believe in India, to have a girl in a joint family where everybody's going to a safe business, doing an unpredictable thing, which doesn't have a future, and pouring in that kind of a money when you've lost everything. I think I owe a lot to him, because I went back and I said, your check is bounced, Dad, and what do I do? And he's like, I'll figure it out. And I don't know what he did. I know he's an honest man doing something, and he did something, and he made sure that I did not leave my photography, which was a very easy thing for him to say. He's like, come into my business, he would have said. But he says, finish this. I was just halfway to the course, and I just shined through there. And then that put so much responsibility on me that I never looked back. And I did very, very well in my career. And I was the only one who was in newspapers in my, so that was like, out of all the kids who were 97 percenters, I was just shining. And that came from a lot of responsibility.
Did you ever go back to thank that principal?
He's
You
no
said,
more. He's no more. Yes, I did, and I have to thank many, many, many people. And I think everybody forms a chain, including you today. It's a chain that's been forming me to take me to where I need to reach. And
right, yeah,
Mike, you, everybody is going to form that chain, and we all do it for each other, and we reach somewhere with that chain. And it's a very big myth if we think that we did it all by ourselves. I think the support, the influences, the environment that we get, if we honor it, if we are grateful to it, if we move forward knowing where the back support is, I think first confidence is more, and secondly, I think you move forward because you're grateful, and you move forward with a lot of greatness.
but then you also have that desire and the faith behind that desire that kind of pushes you to, and the universe works its own way. It's unbelievable. I mean, I'm listening to your story,
Yes,
and you see, there it is. That universe is just, it's showing you the path.
yes,
And sometimes we
yes,
resist and we go, no, 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 I don't want to do that. But we don't, sometimes we don't really know,
right,
and there's a
right,
greater force,
right.
there's a greater knowing, there's a greater,
Yes,
there's
yes.
more for us out there. So
I
I,
totally agree to that. I totally agree to that. And that's what's pushed me here, because I just know I have to do it. And
right,
anybody who knows me, including Mike and other people, that it doesn't take me too much time to decide.
Yeah.
I am a quick decision maker, and I decide very fast. And uh, everything else comes later. Do I have the money? Do I have everything? But I just say, okay, it's come into my path. I need to
Mhm.
do it.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's,
Then,
I don't know if you're familiar with Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I mean, he interviewed thousands of rich people and wanted to know what was the secret behind it. And one of the secrets is people who are capable of making decisions quickly,
yeah,
and figuring out how later, you know.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you're well on your way. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Thanks, Lucy. Thank you so much.
Listen, I want to talk to you about, you have a little company called Kids Say Cheese.
Right.
Is that still intact? Is that still going?
Um, I think before COVID it was intact, and then I stopped photographing because I had my own baby who was 4 months old, and so that's my company that basically takes pictures for babies and families. And I did portraiture for poets and musicians and artists under Shikha Khanna Photography, and Cheese was just a company that basically did that. So that's what my company was all about.
Okay, so are you saying that obviously it makes sense that the pandemic changed all that? I mean, because you
Right.
used to go to people's houses and you used to
Yes.
be on site, and so that's the way the pandemic changed your life that way, right?
Right.
And
Right. Absolutely.
any other changes that are obvious to you that happened to you because of the pandemic?
Oh, as I told you that I am a quick decision maker, and
Mhm.
I had a 4-month-old baby and a 7-year-old child, and then this whole online world came up, and fortunately, my older one is also a very, very social kid, so dealing with 4-month-old, breastfeeding and night duty, and doing all that, and figuring out the online world for them. Uh, to keep myself sane, I decided that the online world was the only one, and I knew that my brothers and all who are into printing are going to all lose printing because there'll be no printing in 2 years' time. I could see it.
Yeah.
It's going to be changing, and I kept on pushing them that why don't you do something digitally? And they are being lazy the way, everybody is thinking pandemic will go away. It's just 3 months. You're just being very hyper. You're just being very so, well, I said, I think somebody in the family, because I'm very attached to my brother sisters, and they knew that she's gone totally nuts, warning us. I decided to start getting to online world. And then one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, I started taking courses out of the courses. And I would wake up in the night after the whole day. Every time I woke up in the night, I'm rubbing my eyes, I would do some courses while breastfeeding and doing stuff and everything and figuring it out. And then I don't know how I reached Mike, how I reached other coaches that I've met, and one after this is just chain that I talk about one after the other, and it took me a year almost from where I am today, and I'm just wondering that I was thinking I'm not moving, but in 1 year I've moved leaps because what I'm doing now has suddenly become together. And all I was doing was believing and moving and believing and moving and thinking that it'll happen, something will happen, something will happen. And honestly, nothing big online has happened for me. And now, can I say that in last 3 weeks? No, I can't. I mean, what's happening to me is like I can't even handle it with the project we're going to talk about because I just can't handle the energy. And I'm trying after my interviews because I'm like, we're going to talk about it. And
Well, you're also launching classes on iPhone photography, is what I
yeah,
understand,
yeah,
right? And you're set to launch an online course to teach mom entrepreneurs to shoot great iPhone pictures, right? And
yes,
you're doing this on the international platform called mastermind.com, exactly where my course is too,
yes,
right? Wow.
yes. I'm planning to put it all there. And I've been doing few classes already on iPhone by being hired by people who knew me. I'm teaching some schools. So those courses are definitely coming, but Mastermind and Project Nest has given a platform where you can put your courses there. And I'm hoping that because I'm busy with one thing, I'm going to put all these courses together into Project Next and put it forward from there. And then, go ahead and market those and use whatever I've learned the last 1 year to put that out.
That brings the thought, you mentioned Project Next. You know what made you do that? What made you join that program?
So you want me to tell you the honest thing, right? Are you going
Yes,
to tell me?
absolutely honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was Mike and you, Lucy, and I always say that I'm not saying it because you're there on the show that I have to say it. I've
No,
been watching you for quite some time, Lucy, and you're total an inspiration, total inspiration to me as well. And a lot of times when I saw you, and there are times as moms you're giving up, you're totally giving up, and then this online work doesn't work. And then I see Lucy standing up and saying, "Oh, come on, let's do something," and I'm like, all right, if Lucy can do it, I can definitely do it at my age. I'm just go to turn 40, I can do it. And Lucy is like crushing it because I told you my dad is like probably 2 years younger than you. And when I try to take him, even to teach him the ATM, how to take on money from the ATM, etc., it's like a big deal for them, right? They're like, we're going to cut checks and get the money out. We can't deal with this online stuff. And there you are totally crushing it, online with so much smile and people totally loving you. So you and then Mike, of course. And I told you I'm a quick decision maker.
yeah.
I I saw the future challenge, and I was on the fourth day, and I messaged Mike, and I'm like, Mike, what do you think? You know that I've been taking a lot of courses, and I've been blowing all my husband's little money that he's supporting me
Yeah,
all the time with. I don't want to do that anymore because I was not working.
yeah.
Pandemic took over my life, and I took a sabbatical for a year to raise children, etc. And he said, if anything else, this is the place for you. And when he told me that you, him, Debbie, I didn't know at that time. I still don't know Eden, but I now know Debbie, are coming up with a support system to
Absolutely.
support this. I was like, I think I'm in. And I did feel more comfortable jumping into Project Next because of you guys.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. I want to talk about your latest project because it is so exciting. It's called, okay, you tell us what it's called.
It's actually a self-portrait movement,
Hmm.
and it's a book that I'm coming out. It's a comfortable book which is called 100 Self-Portraits, 100 Dreams.
I love
That's
that.
the
Repeat what that is. I just love that title. 100
uh,
portraits
self-portraits and
and
100 dreams. It's called
dreams.
100 Self-Portraits, 100 Dreams. And this is a journey that I took myself. And the fact that I think whoever's seen my work till today and will see it ever, I might be looking like I'm praising myself, but I've always come back and told me, Shikha, you see people's inner light the way nobody sees it.
You
And
do.
I've seen mothers, I've been uplifting mothers through my work. I've been uplifting them, and I've been going spontaneously taking their pictures. And when I come back out of the shoots, I'm buzzing with energy, and I know that I've done a great deal because when these moms see themselves on the walls, they remember something good about themselves, and not the negative self-image. And well, I had to become a mom, and it took me 6 years to realize that I was talking just like the mother that I was uplifting. So it's the pandemic that made me realize what I was thinking about myself, because till the pandemic, my second one, I didn't realize what I was thinking about myself and what is the image that I'm carrying and where am I withdrawing as a person. Even if I was still shooting, I used to take my younger one or the older one for shoots, but I never realized it. But online tells you take your picture, right? Put
Right.
yourself out there, put your authentic self out there. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
and then suddenly, every time I was picking up the camera, I just didn't want to take pictures. And I'm like, for some time, I was like, what is wrong with you? You were this one person who's telling other moms about it. And what's wrong with you? Why are you not doing it? And then I kept on thinking and thinking and avoiding and thinking. And I'm just like, I think just a graphic is good enough. Just this is good enough. This is crazy. But then I realized it was time to do this journey. And that's how I started taking this journey, put very horrible pictures of myself out there, and hated it, and felt like almost like running away from the room after putting them online. But I've taken that journey, I've come out of it, and something beautiful happened. I thought my hair were very bad since I became my mother, and suddenly my hair, my skin, everything started falling in place. uh, even if I was not doing anything. And then I realized that life is entering back.
Mhm.
And because life is entering back, am I echoing by any chance? Or is
No, no,
somebody
no, no,
else?
no. It's not echoing here, so maybe in your ears,
Okay.
but you're fine.
Yeah. So basically, I realized that the life was entering back, and then people suddenly online started saying, "Oh, your hair are very nice," and I'm like, I've been hating it since I've become mom, and I realized that I was blaming my children for my, going downwards subconsciously, that I don't look nice anymore because I've become a mom. And I didn't ever want them to feel that. So I thought that this movement needs to be taken. And then I started interviewing moms, and moms everywhere were talking like that. Moms were just constantly saying
Yes,
the
yes.
same thing that I've been hearing. And I realized that it was not an epidemic, it was a pandemic. Like moms
Yeah.
everywhere in the world were feeling like this. So I started this whole thing and I started interviewing moms. And then I realized one fine day that it will take me 100 weeks to get these 100 moms. So I woke up and I said 100 days, 100 interviews, 100 announcements, one book called 100 Self Portraits, 100 Dreams will be out in 100 days from August 1, 2021. And now it's just buzzing. Like my life is buzzing with women's energy, their stories. The women I'm finding is uplifting me, and I'm sure they're going to uplift everybody once the book is out.
Where are you in the numbers right now? I know that I think I saw
42, 42 lined up.
42 line up. Oh my God,
Yes.
that's so cool because you were at number 11. So now you're what?
I'm
Well, what's that?
announcing them once in a while. So I've done 13th tomorrow. I'm going to be doing 13th. But they're all lined up because I'm doing one interview a day.
Okay.
And 42 are lined up already. And mothers are just calling from everywhere in the world, appreciating what I'm doing and wanting to support it in whatever way they want to.
Wow.
And other one, men as well.
Do you think that it's because of the video that you put up, or that do you think that that helped a lot? Because I was going to ask you if after we finish the interview, if on our Facebook group of the profiles, if we could put the video there just to, put the because you explained it so well there that what you're doing, what the movement
I,
is, and how you
I,
need more
I
money.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's working, Lucy, but what I know is that my 20 years journey is coming together for this cause.
Okay.
And this is a pulse that was very, very painful. But
Mhm.
people, like everybody was ignoring it. And as I just mentioned, that it might not be just moms, it
Right.
might be women in general. I'm getting men writing to me saying that we feel exactly like you, and we've started wondering why we don't take our pictures. And so I don't know where it's going, but at the moment it's moms. And all the work I've done with poetry, with, children, with mothers, and my journey as a mom, me not having a mom when I was growing up, everything has now become this beautiful flower that is
Oh.
blooming, which I never knew will be happening, but it as if I've taken all the steps to come till here.
Well, that is such a great story. I love the way you just kind of condensed it all at the end. I mean, yeah, it's just I'm so excited for you. It's unbelievable.
Thanks.
And in no
Thanks.
time, so you expect this book to be published when? I mean, you're almost. I mean, how many days do we have left until the end of the year? Do you think you'll be done by the end of the year?
100 days. I have to release the book, a digital version in 100 days.
In 100? Oh, so okay.
And so it's 1st August started, and I'd already covered 10 moms before that. I'm smart because I know there'll be some slip-ins in these 100 days. So
Yeah.
10 were done before August 1, and we're on the roll now. We're on the roll for next 100 days. You will see me interviewing, announcing 100 moms, and I'm asking for their portraits. The book is getting laid, and on the 100th day, you will see the digital copy being released with all
Okay.
100 moms, their interviews, and their dreams out to manifest in the world.
Oh my God, this is so exciting. Let me ask you a question, and I'm asking you this question only because it's coming up. The Project Next has the World Summit, and it's coming up next week.
Right.
What do you
I'm
hope,
joining that.
excuse me, what do you hope that's going to do for you?
I I don't know, but I know everything has been placed. All the cards have been placed at the right place. And I had also high, like just a long time back, I had somehow promised this coach who does, Marie Kondo. Have you heard of Marie Kondo? She
Yeah.
does art of tidying. So I told her that I'll take you on in August without knowing where I would be in August. And suddenly I'm starting a decluttering course with her. And this is the right time to start because there's so much clutter coming from all sides. So I think all the cards have been placed. I just have to keep believing that they were placed in me. And Summit is definitely going to be one of them, I think. So I'm all geared up in spite of my interviews to, and it's going to be nighttime for me. It's going to be, totally night. So I don't know. I'm on for all 3 days. I'm going to be attending it.
And absolutely. And by the way, it's sold out. Did you know that you were able to do a video and send it into them so that you could be featured? Your video on Mastermind should be sent into them. Did,
Wow, I didn't know that. I mean,
I
you're
could
there
send
to
you.
guide me. Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay, I'll find the information and send it to you because I
Oh,
think you
that'll be
still
lovely.
I think you still can, but I'll look into this one
Oh,
after our
that'll be
interview.
lovely.
Would
That'll be
that be
lovely.
fine? Okay,
That'll be
so
lovely.
I don't want to take too much of your time because you're a mom and it's so late. So tell me, is there anything that you would like to say to my audience that we haven't covered? I know there's so much to cover, and you just
Oh,
can't cover
yes.
everything in a 30-minute interview, and we've gone over
Yes.
already. So, what would you like to tell my audience? First of all, how can they contact you? I have in the ticker below that it says contact Shikha, Shikha K3 at
That's my email
gmail.
ID. Yes. Yeah, but I
Okay.
think the best place to contact me is my Facebook profile, which is public now, and everything is happening there, so they can always reach out to me on Messenger. I'm very active on Messenger.
Okay.
And the only thing I think for the audience that I'm trying to say is that uh, just believe. I mean, just believe it'll happen for you, and it'll definitely happen for you. Just don't give up on small, little things and start believing that this was not meant to be or this is not right. For a year, I only believed, and suddenly I've exploded into this project, which I never even thought it'll come true. So I think that's the only thing I'm saying. And I think everybody's placed in your place. Believe them and just keep moving forward. Too much questions is interferes with great things happening. So don't question things too much. That's the only thing I can say from my experience. Something will happen if you stop questioning too much and saying, "All right, let's throw this, let's jump here, let's jump this, let's go, keep moving."
Keep it simple and trust. All right. Keep
Absolutely.
it simple and trust. Well, thank you so much, Chika. Thank you so much for being here. I so
Thank you,
appreciate.
Lucy.
I love what you're doing, and I'm rooting for you all the way. And to my audience, thank you for being here with us. And we will be back next week with another awesome guest. And so, thank you again, and bye for now.
See you.